Welcome back to 31 Days of Your Scrapbooking Q&As. Today's sponsor is Simplify 101. Simplify 101's online classes make getting organized with a professional organizer affordable, fast, and fun. Cut clutter, reduce stress, and have more time for what matters most. Today's question comes from Kelsey. Here is my question. I don't scrapbook chronologically, but I file my finished layouts that way. When I have a layout that spans several dates, I don't know where to file it. Do I file by the earliest date, the latest date, or when I journaled it? What do you do? Kelsey, I'm going to break your question into a couple parts. One is what I do. I don't really worry about where in the albums the layouts are going because I don't scrapbook chronologically, and most of the pages I create now are more story based, and oftentimes they span a period of time rather than being about a particular event. So I just put them in my albums according to when I've completed them. I used to do more strictly what Stacy Julian had suggested in the Photo Freedom and Library of Memories approach, where I had an album for our family, an album for our friends, an album for the events we did. But I found that was even too structured for me because oftentimes I'd have a page about an event we did with our family and other friends. So where would I put it? And I found that I was getting stuck in figuring out where to put the layout instead of worrying about creating more layouts. So I don't like when I get bogged down in those kind of process questions. So when that happens, I just do the easiest thing. And that's what I do now, which is I have an album. I put the layouts in order as I create them. And when the album's full, I put it on the shelf and I go on to the next one. And it isn't the most organized manner because if we are looking for a particular layout about a particular thing, it can be a little bit of a treasure hunt trying to find it. But it works for me for now. And it's actually kind of fun to have layouts mixed together that might be something of Ben now that he's 15 next to something of him when he was 2. And it makes it fun when we're going through the albums because it's kind of like we discover fun new stories each time we go through the albums. I can see in the future trying to get them more organized, but I'm not sure what that end result looks like. So until I have a good vision of that, I'm going to stick with my method of just filing them chronologically according to when I complete the layout. In your situation where you are filing chronologically according to when the event occurred, what you might want to do is think about where you would look for it. So step back for a second and say, okay, if I were going to look for the layout I created about Joe's shoes and how he always picks the same type of tennis shoe ever since he was 5 years old, and I've got a photo of him at 5, 12, and 25, where would I look for that? Would it be at the latest date? Would it be at the earliest date? In my mind, as I went through that scenario just now, I would look at the latest date. That would be the natural place for me to look, but that's my brain. For your brain, you may look at the earliest date. So just sit back for a second and imagine yourself going to your wall of albums or your shelf of albums. Which one would you naturally reach for first to find that layout? And then file your layouts in that place. So I hope this has helped. You're going to have a different answer than me. You're going to have a different way of organizing your scrapbooks than I do, and that is totally okay. That's one of the things I love the most about this hobby is how flexible it is, how it can fulfill so many different needs for so many different people, and it can also bend to what we want it to be. So don't get hung up in the details of where things are going to go. Spend more time creating those layouts, and I think the rest of the organizing process will take care of itself. But have a vision in your mind of where you want things to go and kind of just lay it in that manner. Hope this has been helpful, and I'll be back tomorrow.